You've been scripting, visualizing, affirming, doing all the work, but lately, you just don't care anymore. You feel empty. You feel like giving up, and your ego is terrifying you, telling you that if you stop trying, you'll lose your manifestation. But what if I told you that this sudden loss of interest is actually the strongest sign that you're about to walk through the final door before your reality shifts? I want to have a real conversation today about what is happening right now because I felt this shift. This has actually happened to me recently, and I want to know in the comments below if this has happened to you too. You know that feeling when you first discover the law of attraction? It is electric. You're doing the methods and you're meditating and you're so high on life, but lately does it feel like the spirit is gone? Does it feel like doing the things you used to enjoy, like the rituals and the affirmations? It is just not as fun. It does not feel the same. And when I first started realizing this and feeling this and experiencing it, I started to get kind of disheartened by it. I thought maybe I'm lowering my vibration. I thought maybe I'm falling off the wagon. I thought maybe this is happening because of all the crazy stuff going on in the world around us. Maybe I'm retreating from society and nothing feels the same because our spirit is being degraded, and I do think that is playing a role. I do think that is a major cause of why this is happening. But I think there is something else that we are kind of glossing over. And I think this is something that is actually a silver lining. If you're watching this and you feel like you just do not care about your specific person or that job or the money anymore, I'm going to tell you why that is the best news you have heard all year. What I believe is happening is that is a part of ourselves that is actually starting to fade away. It is a part of ourselves that is starting to die. And that is not a bad thing, because the part of us that is starting to fade away is the part that would have us going out craving validation. It is the part of us that would have us going out looking for that instant gratification. It is the part of us that would have us scrolling our phones and seeking attention and putting ourselves out there and comparing ourselves to other people and buying into all this crazy stuff. That version of you buys into the illusion that you're not whole without this thing. You're telling the universe that you do not have it, so you need to do a technique to get it. But now you're tired, you're losing interest. And the reason you're starting to feel empty and nothing feels the same and the techniques do not hit the same is because that part of ourselves that bought into this illusion is dying. It is dying and it is withering away. And what it is revealing is the part of ourselves that we have buried. It is the part of ourselves that actually makes us who we are. We are starting to actually tune back into our intuition and to who we are as people. And I would call this a transition period. And I think this is very fundamentally important to embrace this, because when you embrace this, what you're actually embracing is peace. Because you're losing interest in things and nothing feels the same because you're starting to baseline. You're reaching that monotone level where everything is just kind of mundane and you're just kind of floating through life. In the teachings of Neville Goddard, we call this the Sabbath. It is the state of rest. It feels like boredom, but in that boredom, you're actually starting to find peace. And we need to redefine what peace actually feels like, because Hollywood and social media have lied to us. We think peace is this euphoric, floating on a cloud sensation. But true, deep peace is actually very heavy. It's grounding, it's neutral. Think about the things you already own. Think about your shoes, or your bed, or your car. You aren't jumping up and down with excitement every time you see them. You are bored with them in the best possible way. That boredom means ownership. That boredom means safety. I have noticed this for myself, that when I get in that mindset and I'm just kind of bored and nothing really brings me joy, I'm actually at peace. I have begun to drown out all the noise and I can start to tune into myself and listen to my own internal dialogue. And when the noise stops, you might realize that the excitement you were feeling before wasn't actually happiness. It was anxiety. It was the thrill of the chase. It was the adrenaline of, will it happen? Won't it happen? When that adrenaline wears off, you are left with you. Just you. And what it is telling me is that I simply do not align with this old way of chasing desires anymore. This is your subconscious mind telling you that it is done. You do not keep cooking a meal that is already ready to eat. You take it off the stove, you lose interest in cooking it so you can gain interest in eating it. That is where you're right now. Let's stick with that cooking analogy for a second because it is so perfect. Imagine you are baking a cake. You mix the ingredients, that's your visualization. You put it in the oven, that's your feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now, do you stand in front of the oven screaming at it? Do you open the door every 30 seconds to make sure it's becoming a cake? No. If you do that, the cake collapses. You walk away, you go watch TV, you do the laundry. You literally lose interest in the process of baking because you trust the oven. You get bored of standing in the kitchen. That boredom is trust. That boredom is faith. I want to go a little deeper here. I want to talk about your nervous system because this explains why so many of you feel like you're in a zombie mode regarding your desires. The reason we are feeling this way is because we are being pummeled. We are told to do this technique and listen to this subliminal and check for movement. We are living in an era of manifestation burnout. We treat the law of attraction like a second job. We wake up and we have a to-do list for the universe. Did I affirm enough? Did I visualize for 15 minutes? Oh no, I had a negative thought. Did I ruin it? This creates a chronic state of hypervigilance. Your nervous system is constantly scanning for lack so that you can fix it with a technique. And eventually, when you're so overwhelmed, your body kind of taps out. I mean, we see this in nature. You think about a lot of animals. There are certain animals out there that when they are extremely stressed, they go into like a zombie mode. I had an iguana one time that it would turn black and it would freeze up and just stay that way for hours on end if it was overstressed. And I ended up having to buy a book and read this and figure this out because it freaked me out. I thought the iguana was dying, but it was actually a survival tactic. It's called tonic immobility. It's a shutdown response, and humans do this too. When we try too hard, when we force the energy, when we push against the 3D reality every single day, our nervous system perceives that effort as a threat. It says, whoa, we are expending way too much energy on something we don't have. This is dangerous. We are going to run out of resources. So what if us feeling this way and us being forced into this situation where everything feels mundane and nothing hits the same is actually a survival tactic? What if it is something that is ingrained and embedded in our DNA that is basically telling us to slow down, to stop, to not buy into this stuff, to focus on the things that matter? Your higher self is forcing you into this situation where the techniques feel mundane. Why? Because if you keep trying to force the manifestation, you're going to repel it. So your body literally shuts down the wanting mechanism to save you. Think about the physics of wanting. To want something implies separation from it. If you are holding a cup of coffee, you don't want the coffee. You have it. The energy of trying is the energy of resistance. It is like trying to push a door open that says pull. The harder you push, the more closed it remains. It is saying that if you continue to buy into this, it is going to have a negative impact on your life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to establish a baseline. I'm going to bring you down a few notches. I'm going to make things feel kind of bland. That way you can experience the boredom. That way you can experience the silence. I'm going to force you into focusing on the things that do matter. And the things that matter are peace, silence, and solitude. This is the period of the void. In so many ancient spiritual traditions, the void is revered. It's the dark soil before the seed sprouts. But in our modern world, we are terrified of the void. We are terrified of not feeling high vibe. But the void is where the creation actually happens. It's the womb of your reality. So what happens next? If you're in this phase where you feel like you're giving up what is on the other side, the giving up is usually the moment right before the breakthrough. We have all heard those stories. The woman who stops trying to get pregnant and adopts and then immediately gets pregnant. The person who stops looking for love and bumps into their soulmate the next day. Why? Because they stopped emitting the signal of lack. When you are desperate, you are emitting a signal that says, I need this to be okay. That is a repulsive signal. It pushes things away. When you give up, when you say, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to be okay whether this happens or not. I'm just going to live my life. You drop the resistance. You neutralize the charge. And the moment the charge is neutral, the dam breaks. The water flows. This phase allows you to see the silver lining. It allows you to see these things as a good thing. It forces you to take a step back and to focus on the things in life that matter. When the seeker dies, the receiver is born. You cannot be the seeker and the receiver at the same time. They are two different frequencies. The seeker is leaning forward, grasping, checking the time, wondering where it is. The receiver is leaning back, open hands, relaxed, perhaps even a little bored because they know it's coming. This boredom you feel, that is the posture of the receiver. It is the energetic signature of it is finished. You're starting to tune back into your intuition and to who you actually are. And you're realizing that you do not need to manipulate the energy anymore. You do not need to play the fiddle to get the universe to like you. You don't need to perform for your reality. You don't need to earn your desire through suffering or through hard mental work. You have planted the seed. Now you have to let the sun and the rain do their job. So if you're experiencing this, try to think about it in this way and try to think about how this can be a good thing. I want to give you permission right now to be boring. I want to give you permission to have a week or a month where you do absolutely no techniques, no scripting, no visualizing. Instead, focus on the 3D in a grounded way. Drink your water, walk your dog. Specific person, don't worry about them. Money, stop checking the bank account every hour, just be. Observe how much lighter you feel when you put down the burden of making it happen. Embrace the silence, embrace the solitude. Stop forcing yourself to script if it feels dead. Stop forcing the visualizations if they feel gray. If you try to force a feeling that isn't there, you are actually creating more resistance. You are creating a fake emotion, and your subconscious knows the difference. It knows you are faking it. Authenticity is the highest vibration. If your authentic vibration right now is, I'm bored and I'm over it, honor that. That honesty is more magnetic than a fake high vibe joy. Get in tune with your intuition. Listen to what it is telling you. It is telling you that you have done the work. The seed is planted. You do not need to dig it up every day to check if it has roots. Let yourself be bored. Let yourself be done. Because it is in that silence that the magic actually has room to enter. The universe abhors a vacuum. When you stop filling every second with noise, with trying, with techniques, you create space. You create a vacuum. And the universe rushes in to fill that space with your desire. So if you are in the zombie mode, if you are in the Sabbath, congratulations. You have graduated from the school of trying. You are now in the waiting room of having. And I think if you're anything like me, you're going to find that it is telling you all the right things. Let me know in the comments below if this has happened to you. Have you hit this wall? Do you feel this shift occurring? Let us talk about it because I promise you that you're not alone in this. I love you guys.